Hi everyone, in this video I will present my version of the solution to the challenge proposed by Chandu sir in his video. You can check out that problem with the solution by Chandu sir by clicking on this link here. So his solution was primarily based on Power Query with the use of dynamic arrays. What we will do is we will try to solve the same problem without using Power Query, that is only with the help of dynamic arrays, and to be more precise, using newly introduced functions in Excel. So let's proceed. So as a first step, what we want to do is we want to get a separate list for these names and a separate list for these expenses from this expense details columns. So for getting the list of all the names, we can use text before function, text before, and in the text parameter we can specify this complete column, right? And as a delimiter we will specify colon here, so in double quotes obviously. So close the bracket, press enter, and we got the list of all the names. Now for getting the list of all the expenses against each of these names, we will use text after function. Text after, as a text again we will specify this complete column, and for delimiter we will specify now colon and then a space, right? Close the bracket, press enter, and we got a separate list for all these expenses. Now what we want to do is against each of these names we want to get the sum of these expenses, but we cannot apply the sum function directly here because these are separated by comma. So what we can do is we can apply text split function, so equals to text split, and for text we will specify this comma, as our column delimiter we will specify comma here. Close the bracket, press enter, and we got our expenses separated for fill here, right? But again now also we cannot apply the sum function directly here because this is now formatted as text here, but we want to convert this into number and then apply the sum function. So for that purpose we can use value function here, so equals to value. So what value does is it converts text into number if it recognizes this as a number. So equals to value, close the bracket, press enter. Now you can see that the alignment also changed because this is now recognized as a number. Now we can apply sum function to this array, so equals to sum, close the bracket, press enter, and you can see we got a result, but this is only for this one value here. We want to get this same thing done for this whole array, right? So for that purpose we can use by row function, so equals to by row. In place of array we will specify this complete array here, and for function we will write lambda, and we will call for example each of the row in this array let's say x, right? So x, and we want to apply this complete operation on each of these x. So in place of k5 we will specify x here, right? We will close the brackets, close the bracket, press enter, and you can see that we got our desired result, that is the sum of these expenses against each of these names. Now we can come to the main part, that the main solution which we wanted to do. First of all we wanted to get the unique list of persons, so for that purpose we can use unique function here, equals to unique, right? And as our array parameter we can specify this array here, right? So if we close the bracket we got the unique list of persons here. Now for each of these persons we want to know that how much was spent by each of them, right? So what we can use is, for that purpose we can use SUMIF or SUMIFS function. So sum equals to SUMIF. If I use SUMIF, in place of range we can specify this array here, right? For criteria we will specify this array here, and as our sum range we can specify this array here. We will close the bracket, press enter, and we got the result, right? That how much was spent by each of these persons. Now we want to know the share of expenses by each of the members in this group, right? So what is their policy of sharing expenses? Their policy is that the cumulative expenses of the group will be shared equally among all these members, right? So now there are 4 members, so total expenses will be shared by these 4 members. If one more member is added, then expenses will be shared by 5 members, correct? So share of expenses for one person, that can be derived using average function, equals to average, and we will specify this array here as a parameter, close the bracket, this is for one person. Now we want to get this expanded for each of these persons in this group. So for that purpose, that can be done using actually 2-3 ways. I will show you one way here, that is using sequence function here. So equals to sequence, and in rows parameter we will specify equals to rows, correct. Rows as our array, we will specify this array here, the number of persons, correct. In place of columns, nothing, as a start value 1 and a step value will be 0, right. And we will multiply this array by average value here. If we press enter now, you can see that against each of these names 2982 is there, correct. So if one more person is added in future, for example, if I now change Alan from here to suppose Chandu, correct, Chandu, press enter, so this is scalable. So the whole array got expanded, right. And here also you can see that Chandu is written here, correct. Now if I press Ctrl Z, so this is scalable, right. Now to receive or pay, so how much Phil will receive or pay, that will be the difference of how much they spent and what was their share of expenses. So this is pretty much simple. We can specify this complete array here minus this array here, right. Press enter and we got our results, correct. So that is this for this video, and I hope you will like the solution. So this was my version to the problem by Chandu sir. You can go and check out his video, that was also pretty cool using Power Query. So you have now 2 versions of solution for the same problem, right. So thank you, that's it for this video. I hope to see you in more such videos like this one. Thank you.